Hey friends, I thought it might be fun to do a little behind the scenes today because I was inspired to film another of my sit down podcast style videos about Tamagotchi because the new Uni Sanrio was announced recently. So I thought, wouldn't it be fun to show you a little bit about my setup and kind of how I go about doing this style of video. I will be honest, this wasn't an original idea of mine. I was inspired. If you follow any original or famous YouTubers, I was inspired by Shelby Church. She actually has a series of sit down videos where she goes over topics that are very popular right now. Her original video was about why YouTubers are quitting, and it did so well. She just kind of kept picking different topics and making different videos in that style, and I fell in love with it. I love just sitting and listening to someone chat, and so I thought I would try it on my own channel, and you guys love it. I don't have a name for it yet, but I wanted to show you what I'm doing and how I do it because, if you're interested in doing a similar style video yourself, it's fairly easy to do. And I'm going to show you some of my gear and things, but you don't need anything. You just need your cell phone to make videos these days. So don't think you need all these things. I bought all this equipment because I wanted to stream, and then I remembered that I'm a horrible introvert and I actually don't want to spend that much energy playing video games and trying to entertain people. So now I use it for this podcast style video series and I'm really loving it. So we're gonna go through my setup. It's messy. It's messy on purpose. I wanted to just give you a little behind the scene look, and then I'm going to actually film the video because it's been over a week, I think, since the uni was announced, and we need to talk about it. But not in this video. This video, just some behind the scenes look at how I make this style of video. Now, first of all, we're in my basement. I don't think I really film a lot of videos here in the basement because it's very messy, but it's got all of our gaming stuff. So here is my computer setup in a quick look. This is where I do my PC gaming. And see all the stuff I had set up for streaming, which I decided not to do. But over here we have our big screen TV and all of our gaming systems. But I love it because it's fully furnished, the entire basement. So there is carpet on the floor, and we can basically live down here if we want to. So we spend a lot of time down here. I don't make a lot of videos down here. I think the last one I did was about my Asus ROG Ally, which I don't know if any of you watched that video. Two of them? No, one video about Starfield and the Asus ROG Ally. Did that down here because that's where I play video games. But now this is where I make my Tamagotchi Tama Talk series. Okay, so for the setup, I do have a fairly wide screen monitor. That was for gaming, kind of a curved monitor. I've been out of college for 18 years, so I have some disposable income. I have my gaming keyboard and mouse. But what I use this for with the Tama Talk series is I do some research here, and I have this notebook here where I take notes. So I'll give you a little sneak peek into my notes. Look at this. This is the Uni 1.6 update. Took a lot of notes. I wanted to make sure that I covered everything in a logical, consistent manner. So I will sit here and take notes about any videos that I'm working on. I'll do my research on the screen here and take my notes and ensure that I cover everything that I want to cover in the video. Then for actually filming the video, I have here, this is the ZVE 10, which I bought with I got some money, an extra bonus from my company for working on a very high profile project during the pandemic, very important work we did. So I used that bonus to buy this camera. So I know I have a lot of cameras. I talk about them a lot on here. You don't necessarily need these cameras. It's just what I have and what I use. I originally was planning on getting it for streaming because you can plug it in straight to your computer and USB-C and it will work as a webcam. But now I'm using it for the Tama Talk series. I was trying to use it for a vlog camera, but I really hate the stabilization. So now it sits on this tripod that I got and it doesn't move. I have plugged into it. This is a battery, so this plugs into power. You can power it through your computer, but I have trouble getting it to just power and not try to be a webcam. So I got this, it's like a fake battery, plugs straight into power here, down there's the power. But it's like a fake battery, plugs in, keeps this thing running, so I don't have to worry about it running out of batteries in the middle of filming. I did in my last video and I said, you know what, forget it, I'm gonna get this thing. That was like $25 to power this. Also on this is not, I wouldn't recommend buying super fancy things if you're just getting into video, but this is the Sony 15mm 1.4 lens. There is a cheaper version from Sigma for this style of camera, works just as good. But I had some extra spending money and I wanted to get the fancy Sony one. So I really like this one because it's really good in low light. And as you can see here, I mean, the light's pretty bright right now because it is like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. But typically the basement is very dark. So I want a lens that will be able to do low light. And then I also have up here, this is the Elgato ring light. You do not need to spend Elgato money to get something nice. I'm gonna actually link for you in case you want to do video and have like good lighting. A like $50 ring light that is so good. I actually have it upstairs and use it for a majority of my videos that are in my office because you don't need a really expensive ring light. I just thought, you know, back in the pandemic, I thought I was gonna be this cool streamer and I had to have all the cool streamer gear. You don't need that. Actually, right now, I don't think I even need a light, but I'm gonna turn it on to kind of separate myself from the background of my basement. So it looks really nice. But that is my camera setup. The Sony ZV-E10 is actually one of the cheapest Sony cameras you can get. And it comes with a kit lens, so you don't need to spend a lot of money. If you decide you want to do a camera setup, I do recommend this because it does really great 4K video. If you have a cell phone though and you want to make videos, just use your cell phone. Okay, this is my gaming computer. This I set up, I want to say maybe before the pandemic happened. We did some big upgrades on it, so it now does PC games, like more modern PC games. I'm a really big fan. And then for my microphone, this you see in the videos, because if it's podcast style, you have to see the microphone, right? This is the Blue Yeti, and I got it in blue because, well, I mean, that's the brand, right? Blue. You can get it in silver and a couple other colors. Do you need this kind of microphone to make videos? No, I think the audio on your cell phone is fine. But because I was going to be a streamer, I thought I wanted to stream, I bought all these things. And now I just use this microphone. I use this for, well, now this podcast style videos that I make. And I also use this microphone for voiceovers, if I ever do voiceovers in my video. I don't do them a ton, but if I ever do, this is the microphone that I'm using. Do you need something like this? No. Do I think it looks cool and like you're making a cool little podcast type video? Yes, of course, but you don't need anything like that. Okay, there's one thing that I forgot to mention. I actually have this Blue Yeti microphone plugged directly into my ZV-E10, and I do that through this cable here. This is called a 3.5mm aux audio cable. So it connects my microphone directly into my camera. That's the only way to do it. And you have to have the microphone plugged into a computer and the computer on for everything to connect and work. I mean, you can use regular audio out of your camera, or you can use a different audio input and then sync everything in your edit. But I am a lazy editor, so I like to just talk right into this microphone. It sounds really good. You guys are really enjoying this style of video, and I think because part of it is because it sounds so good, and that is due to this microphone. But it is plugged directly into this camera, so that is how I do it. And this cord was like $7 on Amazon. So it's pretty cheap. If you already have a microphone and a camera, you can plug it in. Even your phone, if you have the right ports, you could probably plug a microphone into your phone. But that is how I do it with this cable and my Blue Yeti microphone. Love it. It sounds amazing. Also, it's actually been a few weeks since I filmed this behind the scenes, maybe like 2 weeks. I was traveling again. I am done traveling for the next couple of months and I'm getting excited for the next episode I'm going to be filming in a couple of days around the hopeful Tamagotchi Connection re-release that we've been talking about and hoping for a very long time. So I am very excited. But I did want to tell you, you probably saw in the name of this video, but I did decide on a name for this series. I had bounced a couple ideas around about Tama Time and Tama Talk, and it turns out some of these names already belong to other things and people. So I don't want to steal anything. I want this series to be completely my own. So I'm going to call it Tama Tea Time. And that is because if you've known me for a long time, many of you have not, but some of my friends who have known me for 10 or more years know that I used to host a tea time at my job where we would sit and drink tea and gab and just hang out and have a good time. And I want this to feel like those days. I want this series to feel like we're just sitting around with a cup of tea or maybe a cup of coffee in our Tamagotchi cups. We're just hanging out and chatting. So for now, we're gonna call this series Tama Tea Time with Jill. And I'm hoping at some point it'll evolve into something a little bit bigger where we talk about other things other than Tamagotchi. But for now, you've got me with Tama Tea Time, and I can't wait to see you in the next episode. Get your tea ready. We'll be talking starting Monday, the 13th of May. See you then.